Lovely starshine lights my way to bed. Magic rainbows glisten in my head. Just like a child I live in Wonderland. All my dreams are coming true. Heavy shackles used.
Hi and welcome to Handmade by Ditsy Tulip. I'm Mel and thanks for stopping by. I promised you a video where I would share a bit more detail about my new presser machine, which is sitting here. So that's what this video is about. I'm going to be sharing a demonstration on how I use this to create, I'll show you what I've done with it so far. So I've mainly used it to create fabric covered buttons like that, to add eyelets. So for example, on my fabric belts, I've used the presser machine to add eyelets. And then most recently was the press studs on the denim skirt. So the way that these machines tend to work, you can buy different packages. I did just buy the machine initially with, you get different attachments called dies, and then you've got different dies for different purposes. So you've got the fabric covered button dies, you've got eyelet dies, you've got press stud dies, and there's a whole array of different dies that you can purchase. But initially I was just going to use this machine for the buttons, so I purchased the machine with the button dies and a whole load of the buttons that you use to cover in fabric as well. You also get options to kind of get cutting blocks and cutters that can actually cut out the fabric to make the buttons, but I didn't bother with that because it was quite an expensive add-on, and I didn't want to pay the extra because it's quite easy just to cut the fabric out in a circle with scissors, so I didn't think that that was necessary. Might have made things a little bit quicker, but for me it wasn't worth the cost. So I just went straight for the machine with the button die and the buttons to start me off, and then I've bought additional dies for eyelets and for the press studs. I can't remember exactly how much the machine was. I think if I were just bought for the machine, the button die and 500 buttons, I think it was £129, but you can get different offers and different options depending on how many buttons and how many different dies you want to buy. I will leave a link to a couple of suppliers that I've used on eBay. The only thing I would say, I'll leave a link to where I purchased my machine from, but I can't say wholeheartedly that I'm recommending them because I didn't have the most brilliant of services. Really pleased with the machine, and it was really quick delivery, but when it came there was pieces of the die missing. They did rectify it, they did send it out to me, but more importantly, these machines don't come with any instructions, and when I contacted the company that I'd bought it from to find out how to use it, they weren't very helpful and said that I needed to contact my local upholsterer because they aren't upholsterers, so I didn't think that was the best response. But there's another company that I've since found, again I'll put text in with what they're called, where I've been purchasing the additional dies from, and I found them a much better service, and they do also sell this machine. So my machine is called the TEP2, TEP2, and it's a semi-professional one, I would say. You can get really hefty ones that are huge, but this one's semi-professional, and it's one where you just kind of pull the lever down. You've got different options. You've got them where you pull the lever down, you've got other ones where you screw it, so I suppose it depends if you've got issues with your wrists and things like that. You'd need to go for the right option for you, but I've found this really, really good, but very squeaky. So what I have done is I've recorded a tutorial on how to use each of the dies to do each of those three things. So making fabric covered buttons, inserting eyelets and adding press studs. So I'm going to flick over to those videos and I'll walk you through what the dies look like, what you get in each pack, and how you install each of the different components. So I'll head over to there now. Okay, so I'm going to show you first of all the presser to how to make a fabric covered button. So here's the presser. What I'll do is I'll bring it in closer so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So when you get your set of dies to make buttons, this is what you get. So you get one that looks like this. You get a piece that looks like this, which is like I got a spring on the bottom. And then you've got a piece that looks like this as well. So what you need to do, you need to put this piece in the machine, in the hole there. You then get the piece with the spring and with the exposed springy bit at the bottom. You sit that over the top. And then I'll show you what you do with this piece next. What you then need is your button. So I've got a button back. I've got a button front. And I've got my piece of fabric cut roughly into a circle. So what I'm going to do first of all is get my fabric circle and put that right side down on top of this piece of the die here. So not in the end that's got the hole, it's this end here. So I'm just going to place that on top, trying to centre the fabric as much as possible. What I'm then going to do is get the button and I'm going to push that on top of the fabric, and then what happens, just to show you, this pushes down. So the fabric, you want to put the button with the rounded side of the button face down on top of the fabric. So I'm just going to push that in. So that's then what it looks like inside. I'm then going to put the back of the button with the hook bit facing down. I'm going to put that inside here. So I've got the hook bit of the button facing down, and then that just pops in. Hopefully you can see that's now sitting inside. What I'm then going to do is place this on top with the now hollowed outside that your button and your fabric is sitting in that way round, and place that on top. Show you that again. So there's the hollowed out bit that's got the fabric and the button in. So I'm flipping it round and that's going to sit on top. Then I'm going to push down the lever and you kind of hear it pop. There we go. And there you have a perfectly covered button. Okay, so what I'm going to show you in this video is how to use the pressing machine to set an eyelet. So when you buy eyelet dies, this is what you get. You get two pieces. One piece looks like that, and the other piece has got a screw bit on the end there and looks like that. You need to ensure you're getting the right die size for the size eyelets that you're using. And what you need to do first of all is the bit that's got the screw end on, you need to screw into the machine here. And the other end you want to place into your machine. So these silver pieces, you get two with your machine. This one is going to sit in the machine there, and then this is going to sit in the hole with this bit that sticks up, at the top. What it's also useful to have, although not essential, is some a hole punch to help to cut the hole in the fabric to place the eyelet. So that's what I'm going to do first of all. I'm just going to pierce a hole in the fabric. So there's the hole. What I'm then going to do is get the 2 pieces of the eyelet. So I've got the eyelet and the washer. And I'm going to push the eyelet through the hole that I just made in the fabric. There we go, so there's the eyelet pushed through the hole. I'm then going to place that with the eyelet side facing down on top, so that sits on top of the little bit that's sticking out. I'm then going to put the washer on top with the more rounded edge facing up. I'm then going to press it down. And that's it. That is then set in the eyelet. Okay, so I'm now going to show you how to attach a press stud like this with the pressing machine. So the die set for press studs comes in 4 pieces. You've got one piece that looks like this. It's like got a bit of a plastic, it's like a rubber cap around it. You've got one piece that looks like this, which is smooth at the bottom, and then it's got a little sticky out bit. You've got a piece that looks like this, which has got the screw thread, and then it's got a little sticky out bit on the other end. And then you've got one that looks like this, so it's smooth there, and it's got like it's not hollowed out, but it dips in there. So they coincide with the 4 different elements of the press stud, which I'll show you as I go. So what I'm going to do first of all is attach the front of the press stud. So you can see I've got the smooth bit of that, and then you've got, that's the bit that attaches to the back of that. So what I'm going to do is this one that's smooth at the bottom and has got that shape at the top, that sits in the machine. And then the top bit of the press stud will sit in that with the smooth side of the press stud facing down. What I'm then going to do is put this piece, so it's got the screw on one end, and then the other end looks like that. It's kind of hollowed out, and then it's got a little sticky out bit. It's really difficult to explain these, so I'm going to screw that into the machine. Then what I'm going to do is press this bit up into there, and you want to place it in so the bit that's got the stars, so you can see there it's got like the little smooth side with the stars on, goes in facing up like that, and you'll hear it kind of clicking. Again, it's useful to have a hole punch to punch a hole in the fabric where you want the press stud to go. You're then going to place your fabric on top. So just to show you that again, so you've got the press stud, the front of the press stud pressed through the fabric. You then need to press this down. Now you do have to use quite a bit of force. There we go, but you can hear it kind of click in place. So there we go, that's that bit fastened. Then you need to swap your dies around to do the back of the press stud. So the smooth end that's got the little bit sticking up goes in the bottom. And then this one with like the rubber section screws into the top. Punch my hole again. So what we're doing now is the back of the press stud. So you've got this bit that sits there, and then that is backed like that. So what you're going to do is that bit of the press stud you're going to push through the hole in the fabric like that, and then place that on top of the die. And then this bit of the eyelet you're going to push up into that rubber edged hole, but you want the sticky up bit of the press stud facing up, so you can hear it pressing. And then you're going to do the same. You need to use quite a bit of force. There we go. And that is the back. So then there is the press stud. You would of course normally use, I've just used scraps of fabric, and it would normally be thicker because it would be interfaced normally where you're adding a press stud, so that would give it a tighter fit, but that is how you install them. So that's it. That was just showing you how to do those 3 things. I'm really pleased with this, and I've been getting lots of use out of it, and I will keep adding, I think, to my collection of dies, maybe different size buttons and things like that, and try and do a bit of research really on other dies that you can get. If you do use one of these machines and there's other dies that you find really useful, then do let us know in the comments below. That's the biggest thing with these. I found it's just so difficult to find out what's available and how to use them, because I think because they're supposed to go to people who kind of work and use them in the industry, they think that you've already got the knowledge, and you know, people like me haven't, so it's quite difficult to find out how to use them. So I hope that you found that useful. Do let me know in the comments below, and ask any questions that you want about the machine and how you use it. So that's it. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon. Bye.
Magic rainbows glisten in my head. Just like a child, I live in wonderland. All my dreams are coming true. Heavy shackles used to hold me down.